this. Joining us via telephone is a former member of parliament for Bongo and a member of the technical team formed by the government to address the potential power crisis, the Honorable Edward Bawa. Thank you so much for your time, Honorable. Welcome, and I hope you're well.
I'm blessed. And you?
Very well, thank you, sir. Let's get straight into it and let's find out from you, what are the potential risks and benefits of postponing this maintenance by the West African Gas Pipeline Company?
First of all, let me say that just as I spoke to your sister channel this afternoon, yes, there's a possibility that there could be a postponement of the maintenance works from the 20th of January to the February 3. But WAPCo had indicated to us yesterday in the meeting that we had with the various relevant stakeholders that they were still dealing with their vendors to see whether there was a possibility of moving the commencement of the exercise from January 20th to February 3. That being said, my brother, we had two challenges. One had to do with the fact that we just didn't have time to be able to prepare sufficiently to accommodate the challenges that will come as a result of the shutdown of the pipeline. And we also had a second problem that had to do with finance. His Excellency was able to give some directives, and the financing aspect of it is no longer a challenge. We'll be able to find a way of ensuring that should they just stick to the 28 days they had proposed, I'm talking of WAPCo, for the maintenance work, it was going to cost us around between $92 to $105 million. But you know, in routine maintenance activities, you can, in the course of doing that exercise, discover that there are certain things that you need to do, and that can prolong the maintenance program. So assuming that we have a situation where they will have to do some repairs, it may take an additional 1 month thereabout, and that is going to cost us around $238 million. But that being said, His Excellency has been able to ensure that that cannot be a hindrance in resolving this issue. But the other part that we have no control over is the issue of time. Because, my brother, when you go to make an order for parcels of crude, I'm using Nigeria as the nearest, and that is exactly where we are dealing with. It takes you between 15 and 20 days minimum to be able to get the crude into the shores of Ghana. Two, when the crude comes, the crude cannot just be pumped into the generating plant. It has to be treated. And usually it takes around 2 weeks to be treated. So it tells you that, assuming that we're even dealing with the upper level of the minimum time that you need, so 20 days plus 2 weeks, that gives you 34 days. We got to know that the Minister for Finance had not procured or made arrangements for the procurement of crude oil when we took over on January 7th. So we just had 12 days to deal with. So granted that WAPCo decided that they are going to extend by 2 weeks, all that they have done to us is that will be to give us 2 weeks extra to properly prepare. But my brother, the directives that were given to us by His Excellency through the Chief of Staff to the 12-member committee was that ensure that is the problem. And so our duty is to ensure that one, we deal with the various suppliers. We do know that there are queues. You know, usually suppliers have a lot of stakes. And so if you are supposed to jump a queue, you pay a premium. That comes at cost. His Excellency is also using the brotherly relationship between Nigeria and Ghana to talk to President Tinubu to see how he can intervene in situations like this. So basically, that's where we are.
But where does this leave us as a country? And if you are able to, what assurances would you have for the Ghanaian people?
The assurances we'll have is that we hope that all the things we have put in place, we do not have hitches on them. One, the fact that we should be able to get a product, and all things being equal, we'll get a product. Two, the fact that the monies that we have identified that we will use, that we get it, and I'm sure we'll get that. Three, the issues of we don't have no control over how we get the vessel and the product into the country, because that will depend on the supplier. And so we will need to look at all those areas. So there are some things, in fact, usually when it comes to issues of importation of petroleum products, it goes even just beyond the human factor of dealing with the supplier and the offtaker. Weather is also an issue. You understand? Weather is an issue because it has to do with the sea. And so all we can say is to re-echo what His Excellency the President said, that he will ensure that Ghanaians do not go through that ordeal.
If WAPCo is generous enough to buy us some more time by delaying its scheduled maintenance a bit further, what are the dangers inherent in there? I'm asking because I want to find out how critical this maintenance is to the long-term safety and efficiency of the pipeline.
So first and foremost, WAPCo actually wanted to do this maintenance in October 2024.
Right.
And they had written to the government of Ghana for that. Government of Ghana had indicated they should shift it to January 2025 because they wanted to make arrangements for alternative fuel, and that's the liquid fuel. Unfortunately, the facts today suggest the government just only deceived WAPCo and deceived Ghanaians and never did anything. Now, WAPCo cannot go beyond the February 3rd because of two things. One, if you have an asset like a pipeline, you definitely will need an insurance cover on it. Usually, when you pay your premium for your insurance, there's also a condition or maybe some responsibilities on your side as the person who's procuring the insurance. And that any time there is, routine maintenance to be done, you must conduct it. So if you do not do it and anything happens, you do not take advantage of the insurance cover you have. So because of insurance purposes, mostly assets like that, operators of such assets will ensure that they don't over-delay the routine maintenance. So we do understand where WAPCo is coming from. And so as at yesterday, when we met at His Excellency's office, what the representative of WAPCo said was that it was not possible to go beyond the February 3rd. She didn't even decide to move from January 20th to February 3rd.
Very well. Honorable, thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Hopefully we get to speak again regarding this matter. Thank you so much. That was the Honorable Edward Bawa. He is a former member of Parliament for Bongo and a member of the technical committee set up by the government to help address the looming power crisis.